Hello and welcome to the Witch's Realm. I'm Andrea Franco, intuitive business mentor.
And I'm Amanda Root, mindset and manifestation mentor. We created this podcast as a safe space for women to connect and come out of the witch's closet and own their magic.
We discuss everything from business, pleasure, spell work, sex, wealth, and how to live a magically abundant as fuck life.
Yeah, get ready to tune in and get turned on.
All right, so welcome back.
Welcome back again. We're in the same clothes.
Because we're double podcasting because we fell behind.
Because we have to.
Okay, so this episode is just Q&A. We're going to take a couple of questions from the emails.
Welcome back to the Witch's Realm, episode 21, for those who are keeping track, aka me.
Okay, so this question is from Kirsty. Shall we read their names?
How about just the first name?
Okay, Kirsty. Hello, beautiful witches. I love your podcast and the energy that you have created. I do have a question as a baby witch. I have heard that your intention is everything when you are making changes, manifesting, everything in life. And I just wanted to know if I have my intention set, why do I need spell work? Just curious and interested to hear.
That's a good question.
I love it. You want to jam or you want me to jam?
Go. You go first.
I feel like I was just talking about this. For me, the intention is everything, but I like the ritual. It actually, I feel like it deepens my intention, right? So it's like my intention is to call an X or to shift X. And then I allow myself to have discipline and consistency by lighting a candle. That candle is freaking me out. By lighting a candle every single night at the same time for the same amount of minutes, where I'm really calling in this energy and creating this energy and playing in this energy and seeing like what comes, where I think it's a little different than just manifesting. And I like manifesting, like I love having my assumptions and I love writing out what I want. But I think when we actually bring in the act of spell work, it's more intentional, deeper connection. Because when I'm doing spell work, it's like I'm connecting to guides, to source, I usually involve like deities in my spells. So it's like just so much more deeper than I would say like just manifesting, as well as I like to bring physical aspects, and my energy I feel like is way more powerful when I'm doing spells. I think that's how I want to let you riff now.
Okay. So
I feel like you're going to talk differently.
No, I agree with everything that you said, but what came to mind for me is like your intentions is your mind. No, the candle is fine. Focus on me. Okay. I'm speaking. Okay. So, I feel like my intentions, like, yes, it's important to have the right intentions and to have clear intentions. That's definitely a key part of manifesting. However, if you want to I want to connect to the universe when I'm doing my manifesting. So I want to bring all of the elements in. I want to bring in the fire, the air, the earth, the water. I want to connect to my environment, connect to source.
Mother
and
Gaia.
I also want to feel and ignite my senses. So the smell of the incense, the feel of the oil, whatever it is that I'm doing is going to help me bring in whatever it is that I'm doing. So I feel like people also, a spell could mean different things to different people.
I agree. Some people think it's like really out there.
Right.
And I think there's some simple things where it's like an intention, a paper, a candle, a
correct
oil.
I think a spell is what
you make it. It's
your
intention.
You speaking it out to the universe. And then for me, like, again, like you said, I love what you said. I love the ritual too. I mean, I feel
like it brings me closer to what I'm doing. It's like me and the universe and the guides and my past over loved ones, like we're doing it together. We're calling in this energy. I'm doing a love spell for a client right now, and I just love the like lighting of the candle every night and the tapping in and like the consistency where like, do I think that I could just think a thing and get it? Yeah. I think I'm incredibly powerful, but I just think it's like a level deeper of connection, a level deeper of feeling. And I love bringing a ritual in because I think it allows me to stay consistent, where sometimes when I'm writing my assumptions or doing certain things, like I forget. Like, I do not forget to do my
I just
spell.
feel like if you're like playing in the quantum energy field, like you want to add the energy of the elements to your spell work in order to amplify it. So like bringing in that fire,
you love earth.
and bringing in the
dirt,
earth. Well,
sand.
I'm a Capricorn, so I'm an earth sign. I do. I love sand and I love water.
I know. One time you were here and you were like doing a spell in the sand. You were like, "This is a spell."
Roll in the fucking
I was like,
sand.
"Okay, Miss Seashells."
I'm a sea witch.
You cracked me up.
I'm a sea witch.
It was interesting to me. I've never seen someone like draw in the sand and move some seashells and be like, "This is a spell." I was like, "Okay, that's a spell." What the fuck is it?
That's so funny because I was thinking about that. I took a picture tonight and I was thinking about it because I know exactly where it is. Yeah. And I was thinking about that spell.
Was that for love?
Yes.
I guess it worked.
It was like a star. We were like calling him with a star. It was a star shape of objects. Yeah. Making
so
like
funny.
a pentagram.
We got like a saint.
Girl, your boyfriend's name, we were talking about the saint.
I know.
On this podcast.
And how funny that I got
2
that
weeks
bag
before,
today.
and you got that bag today.
I know.
I'm gonna tell you, I've had some really crazy signs lately. Well, I don't want to get off topic. But the flowers. We have ADD so bad. When we were doing that meditation where we were like in the garden looking at our flower, I told you like my flower was a fucking pansy. And I've been seeing them everywhere.
Yeah.
The caterer came to our event the other night, and on the charcuterie board was pansies.
Can't wait for my crazy table.
And I was like, I'll make sure there's flowers on there.
Yeah, no, that's like $200 just for the flowers.
Oh my God. I love the
so
flowers.
bougie.
I'll handle the flowers for the event, for the housewarming.
Okay. We got this.
So yeah, I feel like anyway, do you have to do a spell? No. You can manifest without it. But like, if you're saying like, I'm interested in
diving there,
going there, and right now I'm just using my intentions, like add some fire to it, add a candle to it, like maybe some sand, some grass. Remember when I wanted that house and I went and got the grass from the yard? Like, get creative.
Love that.
Next.
Yes. I'm guessing this is Victoria.
I agree. I saw it. Victoria.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, boss babes. I would love y'all to cover collapsing time in one of your episodes. It's a term I've heard in the spiritual community, but I would love y'all's take on this topic. My mother called. We're declining that. There's a couple of questions in this one.
Sorry, Mom.
So I said I would love to hear about y'all's paranormal.
Let's do the questions
let's
one
go
at a
one
time.
So collapsing time.
We're so on the same page tonight because like I was gonna say this one has a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Victoria has a lot of questions. Let's go one at a time. And I love that. Thank you, Victoria.
For
guys,
compartmentalizing.
Go for it. Like write the question, ask all the questions. You're not too much. Like send it in. Yeah. Okay, go.
Collapsing time. Okay, so I feel like my life is legitimately like collapsing time. Like in such a short amount of time, I have done things that people don't do in a lifetime. So when I'm referring to collapsing time, it's like, calling things to you in the now. I really, really work with the law of assumption. So I think that so often when we're trying to call things in, it's like, I want this in a year. I want this by. And in order for you to collapse time, which is get the thing that you want faster, right? Because that's collapsing it. It's I live it in the now. Like I have been saying over the past couple of weeks, I am a billionaire, right? And like I start being in that energy now. And like Amanda could tell you, fuck you. She's laughing at me. Amanda's seen me firsthand be like, I'm gonna be a millionaire. Like, and
I have.
And like I was wearing 2 different UGG boots and like $100,000 in debt. Like I think that when you do you remember that day? I just feel like so often we think that things are so out of reach because where we are and in our current reality, we are only seeing the 3D and like our bank account is in the negative, or, you know, we have a shitty relationship, whatever the fuck it is, right? And it's like, you just can't see past that. In order to truly collapse time, it's like, you need to be living in this new reality with this new thing you want, and like be in that mindset. I really, really highly suggest reading the book, The Big Leap. And we're going to be discussing this on one of our next episodes and talking about self-sabotage and upper limits. And I think this is a really great book to read if you're looking to collapse time, because we literally can have absolutely anything we fucking want, and like this, like in the snap of a finger. But we don't realize as humans that we are such powerful creatures, and our mind, our thoughts, our words, they are creating. And if you really want this thing now in collapse time, you have to believe it now, and feel it now, and think it now, and, you know, edit your entire mind and thoughts to truly creating what it is you want to call it in the now, instead of like, I'm looking for this to happen in 3 years. That's just not how
You are 100% right about that.
not how I operate. I'm like, this is mine.
So collapsing time, I find, is like really difficult to explain. And you really hit on a couple key points that I totally agree with, being that you have to live in the now. So I pretty much operate under the assumption that like there is nothing but the now. And we talked about this today when I was reminding you of the fact that like time is so bendable. It's so fluid. If you really think about it, the past, it's gone. It's over. It's done with. And the future, it doesn't yet exist. Like, you have no idea what tomorrow holds. So all you really, 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 really have is the now. Now, that being said, also with timelines, I feel like understanding timelines and understanding how like time can exist. There can be a now happening at the same time as another now.
Yeah.
Like there can be timelines happening simultaneously. And that's kind of hard to understand. Like,
that's the thing, is like, you got to get out of the how. That for me is how
you have to get out of the how.
So funny. I made a post on January 1st. I was single as fuck. Celibate, sober, single motherfucker.
You have to release the how.
So I literally, I'm going to post this because like I was just thinking about this the other day, and I wrote, I know that I'm
Do you
going
want to write this down?
And no, this is a vision I don't forget. I know that I'm going to end this year in a very committed partnership, and I don't know the how. And that's just what I wrote. Like, I just trust, I just know. And I started really like, I would not give up on things. I was like, I want a good morning and a good night text. I want this. And I was so vulnerable. I made like several really vulnerable posts online on like what I'm looking for and what I want. And I was not willing to back down. And I didn't care what it took, how long it took, but I was living in it now. And literally, little did I know that that person we had actually already had a conversation on Bumble. Like, I sent him a message. Had no idea, like, had no offense, no interest in him at this point, and never met him, didn't even look at his photos, was just like swiping that day. And then in February, I was in a committed partnership, in love, and saying I love you, like right after this post. And so, you know, you just never really know. And I think that when you let go of the how, that's when time for me really started collapsing. It was like, I'm a millionaire. It's
just that the timing is so irrelevant to everything. Like, if you just stop worrying about it, people spend so much time obsessing about time.
I know. It's ridiculous.
It really is. And people laugh when I say I don't believe in time, because they're like, oh, you're so scheduled. Like, yeah, I'm scheduled. My whole fucking life is scheduled. Like, yeah, we do need to mark
there's like the
periods.
Masculine where it's like, yes, this is happening at 5:00. But I think when it's like, when I'm trying to quantum leap and collapse time, that's when like, this is now.
Yeah. And so you have to believe that something can happen really, really fast, and that it's not going to take, and you're absolutely right. Like, a lot of people will say like, yeah, I'm going to do that after this happens. When I get this, I will do this. That's that be, do, have thing. You know, like, if you really want something and you really want to be somebody, you need to do the things that person does.
Yeah, I remember, like, I've talked about that. Like, I hired an OBM before I really needed one, before I could afford one. I brought on a full-time personal assistant who did my hair, makeup, cooked, clean, and all of that stuff. Like, literally had her leave her job and matched her pay when I was still fucking broke. Like,
well, you, like, took a leap. You know what I mean? Like,
a big leap.
Just like you were talking about that. Like, you can't be afraid to just, like, take action.
I think that if you want to be a part of the 1% of human who, like, really fucking collapse time, like really collapse time, you have to leap. You have to just leap.
You have to
and
jump around.
Trust yourself. I was actually saying this last night. Like, if there's anyone I would bet on me.
Yeah. So I think if you want to learn how to collapse time, you need to, like, you know, practice some breath work, practice some meditation, kind of get in your zen, get in the zone, and then, like, imagine just, like, getting on an airplane and traveling, you know, to a destination in the future. What does your life look like?
Yeah, I think I like write a lot. You know, like, this is, you know, on January 1st, like,
journal it out.
Exactly what I had a big paper. I have it on my wall still. It literally says my desires and what's mine. It just is for the year, for the month.
Yeah.
Okay, I would love to hear about y'all's paranormal experiences.
Oh, you can't speak paranormal experiences.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, I love this question. I thought this was awesome when I saw this come through. I was like, yes. Paranormal experiences. So have I talked about the guy in Char's room at all?
I don't know.
Okay. So when Charlotte was a baby, my middle daughter, she wasn't sleeping, and what?
I need to put the candle out. It's distracting, Mom.
Yeah, I know.
You talk. I'm listening.
I'm not going to talk to myself.
Yes, you are.
It's, like, very awkward. Hi.
I can't watch this candle.
JJ will cut it. JJ, cut this out. This is at the 16th minute on episode. JJ, cut this shit.
Why? It's funny.
No.
You don't need to cut it. I just needed to put the candle.
What happened to the smoke alarm?
It was beeping. Okay.
Really?
Paranormal.
Okay.
Yeah, the battery was dead and it was fucking up my calls.
Okay.
Paranormal experiences, go.
Yeah. So paranormal experiences. So there was this guy in Char's room when she was a baby. She wasn't sleeping at night, and I would be sitting in the rocking chair. She was up a lot, and I would be, like, trying to get her to go back to sleep, and I kept feeling this presence in there. It was like a dark shadow. When I was a kid, I definitely had paranormal experiences at home. A lot of times, like, in the middle of the night. I don't know. I feel like I've been kind of, like, seeing and hearing from deceased people for a really long time, and it almost like became desensitizing.
Yeah.
Recently, I had an experience where in my office, I was on the phone actually about your bathroom with JD. I was talking to JD, and all of a sudden the knocker on my
I hate shit like that.
drawer started knocking, and I've had that armoire in my office for probably 15 years. It's like a little, I don't know, it's my grandfather's. It's very heavy, and those knockers have never ever moved. My grandmother has had, like, a ton when I was a kid, and I used to go over there, and she used to do readings. There was, like, this one time where she was reading a woman whose husband had killed someone and killed himself.
Jesus fuck.
And they were sitting outside on the back patio, you know, her back deck. And I was on the swing set, swinging. And she had read her on the patio, but it was very unusual. Like, normally she would read people in the house, but she didn't want her in the house.
Oh, fuck.
And the patio set lifted up and like went flying. Ask her. It was fucking crazy. She'll still remember. And I remember, like, just being on the swings, and when they left, like, her saying to me, like, you know,
get in the house.
There was something bad there and she needed to take care of it. Yeah. No, she didn't say get in the house.
Did she want you to leave?
She never told me to get in the house.
Yeah.
She was just like, go play in the woods.
She's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like for me, either I blocked it out. I feel like as a kid, I was like a scaredy cat.
Oh, it scared the shit out of me.
So I don't think I really experienced a whole lot of that. And if I did, I really think I blocked it out. I do think that my gifts also came later in life. I think you were someone who had a mentor and a guide, which was your grandmother. And so like that.
She would just tell me not to worry about everything. Like I'd be like, so
I feel like I was just like,
I can't sleep. And she'd be like, they're not going to hurt you. Everything is fine.
But I would never be able to have those conversations, right? But like I remember waking up as a kid and always saying like my knees hurt, and my mom would put like Lubriderm on my knees, and it was called the pain cream. Like I don't know, weird shit when I was a kid. I was so tapped in. I got sick all of the time too. Wild. Anyways, I remember the scariest one for me. I'll never forget this as long as I live. I had never heard a voice before because like hell fucking no. I'm on the phone with my grandfather. I'm in the hallway. I'm at a house, and like as clear as fucking day, I hear hello, and I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I was so afraid. I dropped to the floor and I was like, Pop, don't you hang up this phone. He was like, what? I was like, I heard a voice. I mean, he thinks I'm nuts, right? But like it was just like so loud. So fucking loud. And so I just like I was scared. It was like a couple years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, when it really started coming to me, when I started tapping into like passed over loved ones and stuff like that. I feel like I'm very claircognizant, so like I'll feel the spirit. I'll just know it's there. I don't always have to like hear and see. I think that was one of the freakier ones. They've definitely seen spirits in mirrors, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some cunning, I call them cunning spirits. They'll side, like they'll come to the side.
Do you remember
eye.
when we were at Gusto's and I saw my uncle?
That was crazy, yeah. But like a side of your eye.
Yeah. He was in the mirror.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was
Why
really
do they
cool.
do that? I feel like I get a lot in the mirror.
I think it's an easy way for them to show.
Yeah.
I think it's an easier way to manifest. Like, I think...
It happened when I was in California. That this woman kept coming in the mirror, and I was like, please stop. She's freaking me out. I didn't know who she was.
When I was a kid, I used to see them in the mirrors all the time. Like, when you just said that, it just, like, all...
Yeah.
Like, flashed back to me. I feel like...
I felt like I saw my aunt that just passed away in the mirror the other day.
Yeah.
Right before her funeral.
It's interesting. Sometimes you just feel like you were saying.
I often
I was
do.
going to ask you if you could describe a little bit more about what claircognizance, because I feel like that's something that people...
Well, there's clairsentient, which is feeling. Claircognizance, which is a knowing.
A knowing.
So claircognizance is a knowing of what's going on. It's just like you just fucking know, right? And like there's been many, like I was on a session with a client, and her husband, her obviously late husband, had passed. And it was just so weird. I felt like this loving presence, and like I just knew. And then all of a sudden, like I started to like feel like I was on a hike and like, and I just knew shit.
Yeah.
So I said to her,
no.
He said, it's not like I heard a voice. And I was like, he said, why don't you hike anymore? And she started crying, and she was like,
it's like you have to trust that voice.
Yeah.
What's the next question?
Oh, okay.
I have to pick up a kid in 10 minutes.
Okay. We're
on a time frame here, people.
Origins of being a witch. How did y'all know, and did you claim this title? We'll take this and then we're done.
Okay.
We can do more. Another
You can
Q&A.
go first.
I think that the first time I really, 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 really claimed the word witch was, I don't know, like 2020. I think when I first started my business in 2019, I was saying intuitive, I was saying psychic, I was saying medium, but I don't think I really was like witch until a year or two ago. And I think that when we really teamed up too, it was like you were someone who was a little skeptical of that term, and I was like, we have to make it not taboo.
So I've always known I was a witch. I've always identified myself to me as a witch.
Yeah, but not to others.
My grandmother has always like said, you're a witch, I'm a witch.
Yeah. See,
my mom,
I only identified it maybe like 5-6 years ago.
My mom is like witch. My friends are all like witch bitch. I have texts, like I started posting them like after the retreat. I was just like, fuck it, I'm posting everything. Like I get texts like all the time, you witch bitch, because I will literally just fucking say something.
Yeah,
and then people are like, from your fucking mouth to the universe. So I was afraid to say it. And when you and I started with the podcast, you were like, I think the name witch has to be in the title. of the podcast. And I was like, you know what? You are fucking right. Like anytime I'm triggered by something, I try to like really go deeper. And like, I was excited by it. And I was like, fuck yes. Because I remember my grandma saying to me like, well, remember on Halloween, I was always a witch. I don't know if you know this. I was always a witch for Halloween every year. This year I wasn't for the first time because I felt like I'm a witch every day now. And like I used to be a witch on Halloween because like it was the only day I could really be myself. And I would like joke around and say that. But like what I realized is like everybody knows that I'm a witch. Everybody knows my grandma is a witch. Like, so that's my origin. Like my grandmother reads tea leaves. She's been doing it my whole life. It's like generations back in my family in Ireland. A lot of my cousins, uncles, aunts all read. And it's just something that literally I was like raised doing. Wild.
Yeah, I think I identified as a witch myself later in life, probably like 5-6 years ago. Then I think like 2 years ago, once I really like, honestly, I just don't give I stopped giving a fuck like what anyone thought about me. I was like, I'm owning this.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, I feel like you never really gave a fuck what everybody thought about you, to be honest. I feel like you were always just kind of like.
I think that was the scarier thing for me, like with my grandma and my mom and all the people online.
You mean the spiritual stuff?
Like even now, like my mom will be like, Amanda's gifted. Amanda's a psychic. Amanda's a witch. You're not, like it's like some people will just never look at me like that. And I'm like cool with that. But I think it took me a little while.
You know what was really cool? When I did the Tezmacol ritual in Mexico, there was a shaman that came. And we went into the hut and her and I were sitting across from each other. She had like assigned seats and she chose for me to sit right across from her. And we were like locked eyes and she gave me like a message at the end. And I felt like, she really saw me. I want people to just see me. Yeah. I'm at this place where like, I just want people to see all of me.
Yeah, me too.
And I think that being a witch is like a term that was meant to be like hurtful,
scary,
or
negative.
Bad. Yeah,
no,
I'm
we're
just
recreating
like so
that.
down with it.
Like spell work's not this like creepy shit, like it's like intentional, loving energy. Like you don't have to be like some black magic. Like there's things that we really want to recreate with this podcast of like what it means to be a witch and a spiritual human being because we're changing the world for the better.
We love your questions. So thank you guys so
much. We'll do another
Send
Q&A
more.
in a couple of episodes.
The Witches Realm Podcast at gmail.com.
We love y'all.